All right, we should be good here. And by good, I mean that we should be officially live on YouTube. Hopefully, you guys can hear me and all that good stuff. I noticed if you see, we got the green screen right here. Wanted to be a little, I guess you could say original, I guess. But welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome to the May 2nd. Can't believe it's already May. I ain't gonna lie. This freaking month, April went by freaking fast. And I ain't gonna lie, with the way things are looking for May, May might go bad. May might just go by fast, just like April did. But welcome to the official Monday Night Raw review. Of course, I am the kid, DC Wrestling, here to bring you all your review. We're gonna wait for a few people to come in here, but hopefully everybody's had a wonderful day today. Not just a wonderful Monday, but of course a wonderful weekend in and of itself. Obviously, tonight was the go home show of Monday Night Raw before the big. Well, I really wouldn't say big, but it should be a solid pay per view regardless. That is being the WrestleMania Backlash 2022. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen my preview and predictions, I did that yesterday. So if you want to go check that out, man, go check that out. But not only will we be talking about Monday Night Raw tonight, we will also be talking about a certain someone down in NXT asking and requesting his release from the company. Also, we're going to be talking about the NXT reviews. I know I'm kind of a little late on that, so I kind of want to give you guys my thoughts on the whole NXT releases that went down this past week. But, of course, if this is your first time here, man, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, comment, all that good stuff. If you want to leave a comment in the live chat, that would also be pretty cool as well. But overall, Monday Night Raw was, I mean, Monday Night Raw was all right. Tonight, Monday Night Raw, if you think about it, Monday Night Raw has actually been pretty good so far since WrestleMania, with the exception of SmackDown. Like, SmackDown hasn't really been that good, which is saying a lot because we all was like saying how SmackDown's better than Raw. SmackDown's the A show, and now we are just literally already a month out of WrestleMania, and SmackDown just hasn't really been feeling me. Wrestling overall hasn't really been feeling anyone if you think about it. Yeah, but we did kick things off, man, with the big headline. Um, that is the tribal chief, the head of the table, the WWE undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, the Usos, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, playa. They're coming out and they're saying Greensboro acknowledge me. And by the way, I'm trying to tweet this on my phone, but they're like, yeah, Roman does his typical acknowledge me, and out of nowhere, we see RK Bro coming out hitting the RKO's on the Usos. They're in the ring with Roman. Roman's all like, "Yo, what the heck's going on?" And then of course we see Drew McIntyre comes out with Angela. Drew drops Angela. He gets in the ring with Roman. They're going at it face to face, man to man, and they go at it. And that's literally the segment. This leads to a six-man brawl. They start brawling. Everybody starts beating each other up, and yeah, that was how Monday Night Raw opened up. So, I mean, it's pretty good opener to Monday Night Raw. I mean, there's really nothing more I could say about it. Obviously, the six-man tag team match playa is taking place at the show, and yeah, but I don't know. I don't know, but as far as this went tonight, I thought it went pretty well, indeed. Anyways, after that, like I said, I'm uploading my video on Twitter here so more people can see it. But like I said, after that, we did start things off with our first match of the night, six-man tag team match. Actually, this was a Alpha Academy and the Usos. Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens. My apologies. Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens taking on the Street Profits and Ezekiel Jackson. That's weird. I didn't know they had Jackson there, but Ezekiel, and yeah, this was a solid 6-man tag match. Playa. The weird thing about this match was it wasn't really even the match. Really, the weirdest thing about this whole thing was that, like, aren't the Street Profits supposed to be heel? Like, isn't it fun? Isn't it so weird how the Street Profits just a few weeks ago were acting heelish, and now all of a sudden, like, they're not heels in this scenario? Like, they were clearly the baby faces in this one. But anyways, regardless, we see Alpha Academy and Kevin Owens pick up the win. Ezekiel's very obviously not happy about that, but regardless, Kevin Owens and Alpha Academy get the win there. So obviously they are continuing this feud with Kevin Owens and Ezekiel, which is pretty good. I was thinking a match between those two was actually going to get announced for Mania Backlash, but I highly doubt it since most of the show was already finalized. Again, the Street Profits, it was just so, like, weird seeing them as baby faces, considering again they have been teasing for weeks on end now that these guys are clearly baby faces. So after all that, man, we get Veer Mahan versus Greensboro native, man. Poor Bert Hansen. Basically, man, Saxon's in the ring with them, and he's like, "Look, man, I'll admit it. Veer scares the absolute dog crap out of me. Like, he scares the living daylights out of me. But I signed up for this match because I wanted to work for WWE in my hometown of Greensboro for years. I worked for years at the Sammy's barbecue right down the road, and now my dream is coming true." So, yeah, this is that was actually a pretty cool way for Bert Hudson. I mean, granted, we're probably never going to see him again, but then again, he'll probably show up on AEW Dark or something. But yeah, he gets beat by Veer Mahan. Veer Mahan obviously doesn't care what this dude is about because he beats Bert Hansen, and Veer Mahan dominates like always. I actually like what they're doing with Veer Mahan. They're, in my opinion, they're doing a pretty good job. Obviously building him up. Just have him squash guys over and over again, and that's what you do. So honestly, I think they're doing some good stuff on Veer Mahan. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep putting him in these matches. Just keep having him squash guys, and yeah, until you could put him in a legitimate feud. All right, so the next match, we get Damien Priest versus AJ Styles. Now, before this, we get Judgment Day coming out, and they're just crapping on the crowd and all that stuff. And, like, AJ, like, get ready because you're going to lose tonight, just like you're going to lose at WrestleMania Backlash. AJ comes out. AJ and Damien Priest, man, these guys had a really good matchup here. Damien Priest was good. I really liked the story here that they were playing with AJ's shoulder and everything. Obviously, after what Edge and Damien Priest did to him the previous weeks, but yeah, this is a really good match here, man, between AJ and Damien Priest, and just goes to show you, man, that Damien Priest, man, is good at what he does. So obviously, AJ is great at what he does, but yeah, AJ rolls up Priest for the win. Edge attacks AJ after the match. Edge gets 2 steel chairs. Priest holds AJ down, so they're about to re-injure his shoulder again. They're really trying to make sure he doesn't make it to Backlash now that Damien Priest will not be in Edge's corner. But, and as y'all see in the thumbnail, we see Finn Balor, ladies and gentlemen. Finn Balor makes his appearance. He shows up. He helps AJ. And just like the old time's sake, they throw up the 2 sweet. And I mean, what better timing? Obviously, for Bullet Club OGs, you would know tomorrow was actually 9 years ago today that the Bullet Club formed in New Japan. So pretty cool that AJ and Finn, obviously no stranger to one another. Everybody remembers their pretty good match they had at the TLC 2017 pay-per-view. If you haven't seen that, pretty good matchup. And yeah, this is good. This was cool stuff here. It was really cool. I don't mind seeing AJ and Finn Balor be a team here. Obviously, I think there were rumors that Balor was going to be a part of Edge's group, so don't be surprised if he ends up turning on AJ. But still, this is pretty good and pretty good match and really cool ending as well. Now we do see backstage MVP and Omos and Cedric's like, look, man, I wanna be a part of this group. I wanna, because let's be real, Cedric knows that he needs MVP. MVP doesn't need Cedric Alexander. Cedric needs MVP more than MVP needs him because obviously MVP helped the Hurt Business career and everything. And basically MVP's like, all right, Cedric, we can talk business, but you got to beat Omos tonight. And you got to beat Bobby Lashley. I'm sorry, you got to beat Bobby Lashley tonight. Which of course, Cedric's like, yeah, I'm gonna beat him. Which we all know Cedric ain't gonna beat Lashley. I don't think there has ever been a time where Cedric has beaten Bobby Lashley. You know what I mean? So that we already knew what that was gonna happen. So we get the Miz TV coming out. This is a funny segment, man. Like they're really just digging into Ali and his whole crap that went on behind the scenes. Miz tells Ali to just please, like, now that we got your mic cut off and everything, now that we're just making a complete fool of yourself, don't go to Twitter to complain. Ali's like, bro, like when he's upset, he goes to the fans because they matter. While you, Miz, you go to the powers that be, which, I mean, come on, Ali. Like, you literally asked for your release. Now, I don't want to get into it because I like Ali. And it's good to see him back on programming. But it's just so funny after everything that went down. But hey, I like Ali, so we're good. Anyway, speaking of CEOs and Ali's and people who have A in their first name, well, he doesn't have A in his name anyways. Theory comes out. He's like, look, man, you and I, we're going at it for this title match, but in order to get it, you got to beat me and The Miz in a 2-on-1 championship contenders match. And, of course, Ali's like, all right, cool, let's do it. So they have the match, and, yeah, Miz and Theory beat Ali here. Ali loses. I can't give you guys a big rating for this match because this match doesn't really last that long. Ali does get some hits in, but in the end, it doesn't matter because, again, the Miz and Theory get the win here. So unless they're going to job Ali out, which I doubt it. I think it's a part of the story here. But, yeah, I think Ali's good because I'm already seeing everybody tripping all over the internet how saying, oh, Ali's buried. They're burying Ali. They're punishing him. We're not gonna get into that. All right, come on. I think I know what WWE's trying to do here. We got a 24/7 title match: Dana Brooke and Nikki ASH. I didn't care for this. I didn't. This is probably one of the things on the show tonight that I just didn't care about. It's one of those things where I just skip. I don't watch, and I just didn't care. Like, I literally and figuratively just didn't care. Like, I just didn't care. And the 24/7 title that they've tried, but I've been not sold. I've never been that sold on it. And yeah, man, it's just it's infuriating, man. And then the crazy thing, so Dana, she's all mad and stuff. She's like, look here, Reggie, if I don't get my 24/7 title, you and I, this shit that we're having here, we're not gonna have it no more. And so Dana wins the match, but then Reggie like tries to do his typical trying to win the title back. And freaking Dana's like, you know what, Reggie, you and I, this stuff, it's not working anymore. I want a divorce. So, yeah, Reggie and Dana, that relationship didn't last long as we saw it. So, Poor Reggie, he ain't, and I don't even think they consecrated the marriage yet. So even that's even worse. Mans didn't even get to consecrate the marriage yet. Uh, but after that, man, we get the Seth Rollins Appreciation Night segment. Rollins just talks about how, how the crowd mentions Cody because he's trying to steal Rollins' spotlight at Mania, but Rollins will prove why you can't steal my spotlight at Backlash. Hell, because I am the freaking spotlight. Fans were freaking Cody. We're just chanting for Cody all over this segment. So obviously Rollins is pissed beyond measure. Cody does eventually come out. Rollins just completely downgrades Cody, his himself, his history, his father, his whole family history that leads to Cody and Rollins just start brawling. Cody hits the Cody cutter, and yeah, I really hope that this doesn't lead to Cody losing. I said it in the Backlash predictions that if you're gonna build Cody up as this big main eventer, which it really seems like they are, obviously, and rightfully so, you shouldn't have Cody be losing anytime soon. Seth Rollins can afford to get another loss to Cody. Okay, he doesn't. I think as of right now, at this stage, Cody should not be losing anytime soon, in my opinion. Um, yes, even if at a WrestleMania Backlash. Now, if he does loses, then they got to do a creative way to maybe some way, shape, or form protect him. But either way, I think Cody needs to go over here in this match. But him and Rollins, they're definitely going to have another great matchup at Backlash. Their match at WrestleMania was good. This one is going to be just as good, if not maybe even slightly better than their WrestleMania match. Who knows? All right, so after all that, man, we got Bobby Lashley versus Cedric. I told y'all, man. Bobby just straight up annihilated Cedric. He just straight up annihilates him, just obliterates him, all that crazy stuff. There's nothing more I can say about this. So Bobby and Omos have the stare down, so they're getting ready to have their match at the pay-per-view. So the main event of the night, you get the 6-woman tag team match play. You get Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Sonya Deville taking on Asuka, who's making her return in the Raw in like a not year, but months and months. Liv Morgan, Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. Yeah, this is a pretty good 6-woman main event here. It's pretty crazy that this was actually the go home segment. Like, they could have ended off, and I actually thought that they were going to end like the show off again with the Roman Reigns Tribal Chief brawl or even the Cody segment, but they actually ended off with here. And I didn't have a problem with this. Every woman got their spots in, every woman got their shots in and everything. And, of course, the women got the win here, so that was pretty cool. And, yeah. And actually, one thing I do want to point out before the match, we see Nikki ASH and Doudrop talking. And Doudrop's like, look, are you done playing around? Are you ready to start taking things more seriously? And Nikki's like, yeah, I'm ready. So it looks like we're going to be getting a tag team with Nikki ASH and Doudrop, which I'm all for it, man. Doudrop, where has Doudrop been? It's like we haven't seen Doudrop since she lost to Bianca Belair on that Raw, because she wasn't on WrestleMania. I don't even think she was on the night after WrestleMania, so she hasn't really been on TV except live events. And same thing with Nikki ASH. She's been in this whole ridiculous 24/7 thing. Get her out of it. Put her and Doudrop as a team. I'm all for it. And plus, WWE, they need more women's tag teams. So, yeah, and that was that was the show tonight, fellas. That was the show tonight, people. So, yeah, Raw was pretty solid tonight. Like I said, this was again the go home show before WrestleMania Backlash, and yeah, it was pretty solid go home show. Now, before I end things off, I do want to get into some news here. One of the big news coming out of the day is from AEW. Obviously, we heard that Stu Grayson, but obviously Joey Janela, Marco Stunt. I think another person is not in the company no more. But Stu Grayson is another person who seems like their contract is also expired with not World Wrestling Entertainment, but All Elite Wrestling. So it looks like Stu Grayson is not a part of AEW anymore, which is kind of crazy because it obviously seemed like they were building him and Uno up as a big team, well, as a solid team on AEW. So I don't know how that happened because I never heard anything saying Stu Grayson just decided that he doesn't want to come back. I don't know. But speaking of WWE, we did get some news tonight. We heard from Fightful Select putting out a few hours before Raw came on the air, about 4 hours actually, was that Roderick Strong recently asked for his WWE release. Obviously, we just saw, which we will get into in a minute, Malcolm Bivens. Well, he wasn't. Well, he was released, but technically, he wasn't technically released. If that makes any sense, we'll get into Malcolm Bivens for a minute, I promise. But right now, Roderick Strong will not. He wants out. Like if WWE was to release him right now, he'd be like, cool. Honestly, just like I ain't gonna. All right, let me just say this here, and unfortunately, we have nobody here on the here in the chat right now, but that's okay for future people watching this. Undisputed Era was never ever, and I mean never ever going to be main event stars in that company. They worked and they clicked in NXT because NXT obviously had their own cliche audience, black and gold brand, all that crazy stuff. So it worked for them. But the same stuff that the Undisputed Era did in NXT, it wasn't going to work on the main roster. That's why probably outside maybe Adam Cole, Bobby Fish wasn't never going to be a main event guy. He was never going to be a top star in the main roster. Kyle O'Reilly was never going to be a top star. Hell, he couldn't even really be a top star in NXT. So how can he be a top star on the main roster when Kyle O'Reilly can't even be a big of a star in NXT with that whole cool Kyle gimmick? And Roderick is just another one. So honestly, if Roderick leaves, which it seems like WWE doesn't want to release him, but if they were, we already know Roderick's going to AEW, of course. We're going to get the whole, you don't even need to call him Undisputed Elite anymore. Just call him Undisputed Era again, you know? I mean, obviously, that's where Roderick wanted to go. Well, yeah, you know, just, I don't know. Because in my opinion, if Roderick was to go to the main roster right now, he would be, in my opinion, a solid mid-card champion at best. Nothing more, you know? You see Finn Balor, AJ, if they're not good to split up the Raw Tag Team titles, do you see AJ and Finn winning them? If WWE goes for the long haul, I can definitely see them winning the titles. And honestly, I got no problem with them winning the titles, you know? I think, and it'll do good for Finn, because I know a lot of people are now saying how Finn's freaking buried now, which I don't agree with. Like, Finn's not buried. Finn, that's a whole different video. But I wouldn't mind them if they were to win the titles, even if it was just for a short stint. But yeah, Roderick wants out. But let's get into these releases now. I'm going to end the video off here. Appreciate everybody for being here in the chat tonight. So now this, I'm a little late on this one because this came out on Friday. But there were 9 NXT wrestlers that were cut, and those 9 are, of course, Raylene Devine, obviously Priscilla Perota. She was in the whole Dexter Loomis index with Duke Hudson. We all know who she was. Mila, Milani, Draco Anthony. That kind of sucked. Y'all know, if you watch my NXT reviews, I talked, not highly, but I talked about Draco Anthony. Sanjana George and Paige. I don't know how to pronounce her last name there. But some of the big names here, the 4 big names, I guess you can say, coming out of this was Dexter Loomis, Malcolm Bivens, Dakota Kai, and Harlan. Let's start with Malcolm Bivens here. Now, Malcolm Bivens, and I'll even put Dakota Kai in here too. They were released, but I know with Malcolm Bivens, he actually turned down a new contract this year, and that's what led to his release. Dakota Kai, I believe, as well, also was given a contract, but she decided that she wasn't resigning. And plus, creative never really saw Dakota someone who was going to fit as a main event prominent role on the main roster anyway, so they were just like, get her over. But yeah, Dakota, I think she would have been pretty solid on the main roster. I think she would have been pretty good on the roster and stuff like that. She was pretty good at NXT, so yeah. Malcolm Bivens, very entertaining manager. I was really shocked when he got the paper because like it was like, man, Malcolm, I felt like he made Diamond Mine, and now with Diamond Mine at this point, especially because Diamond Mine, with the way things are going, it seemed like they're in a run for a push. So yeah, Dexter Loomis, he was solid in NXT. Obviously, his character was really, really good, and the whole index stuff that they did was really, really good as well. Obviously, Dexter Loomis is now Samuel Shaw again, so he's obviously most probably going to go back to Impact, probably around Slammiversary. I don't know, but well, no, he can't go around Slammiversary because these guys got 90-day contracts. So if he was to show up in Impact, it'll probably be around August. But let's get to Harlan, man. Harlan, this is actually all right. This ain't a funny one, but here's the thing with Harlan. Um, I was never a big fan on Harlan. I think Harlan is an example of when you take a wrestler and you hype them up. Like just because Paul Heyman was calling him and praising him on the internet and calling him a Paul Heyman guy, and just because he happens to look like Brock Lesnar doesn't mean he's Brock freaking Lesnar. Okay, Harlan had the looks of Brock Lesnar, yet he had the moveset of Eva Marie. All right, that dude was just he wasn't, and we didn't even know if he could cut a promo or not. Like, could this dude even cut a promo? Like, I had to look up some of his like interviews that he did back when he was with UCF because I want to see how he talked. But yeah, I think fans were hyping him up. So God knows what he's gonna do next. But that was that was Monday Night Raw tonight, and yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and skedaddle here. I will be back for my NXT review tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed my Raw review. If you are new here, well, yeah. I appreciate everybody. We got 0 people in here right now, but I do appreciate everybody who did come in, even if it was just for a few seconds. This has been the Kid DC Wrestling, and so yeah.